Hey guys, Stay-Patient here, back with another Fallout 4 video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to go about getting lots and lots of oil and adhesive. Now both of these are very important components because they're used for modding weapons, and also oil is used in the production of turrets, but both of them are quite rare in the open world, so thankfully there is actually a way you can create your own. And many of you will already be aware of this, but I'm assuming if you're watching this video, it might be that you're relatively new to the game and you're trying to find a way to get these two components. So, I'm going to show you a very simple but very effective way of creating your own oil and adhesive. So let's cover the adhesive first. If you go to your cooking stove or your campfire, or whatever you use to cook your food, there'll be a tab here called Utility. And there's one item under this tab, vegetable starch. Now, this works as a junk item, basically. When you pick up a junk item, it will tell you, in your inventory, it will tell you what it can be broken down into. So, in other words, what components are found within that junk item. Now, exactly the same thing works here. The vegetable starch on the left there, it tells us that it's used to create 5 units of adhesive. And thankfully, these are very easy to go about making. On the right there, you see the ingredients. You need 3 corn, 3 mutt fruit, 3 tato, and 1 unit of purified water. These are all things that you can have a steady supply of simply by setting your settlement up in the correct way. So what you want to do is when you're planting plants to be able to feed your settlers, make sure that you plant the corn, mutt fruit, and tato plants, and try and make it sort of a, try and make it an even combination of the 3. Because of course you need 3 units of each one. So let's say, for instance, you are going to have 24 units of food creation, which is what I've got at the moment, I believe. There you go. You could plant 8 units of each food: 8 corn, 8 mutt fruit, and 8 tato. Now, of course, the corn and the tato are actually 0.5 units each, so you'd need 16 plants to create 8 units. These are all things that are actually covered in my other videos. I don't want to get too deep into it, but as you can see here, you've got corn is 0.5 units, tato is 0.5, and then I've got mutt fruits up here, which is actually 1 unit. But you want to just say, so it doesn't matter having exactly the same amount of each plant, but just make sure you have a decent number of tato plants, a decent number of corn, and a decent number of mutt fruit. And what you can do is make sure that these 3 plants are the ones you plant in every single settlement. Because what happens is when you set up supply lines between your settlements, those supply lines will share your excess food between all your settlements. So if you take a look at my map quickly, I haven't got all the settlements yet, but I have got all the ones that I've currently unlocked linked together, which means when I go to my main hub, my main home, and I go to create some vegetable starch, I'm able to access all of the spare corn, mutt fruit, and potatoes from all of my settlements. So if I've planted those 3 types of food in each of my settlements, then I'll have quite a large number of spare food available to use for that recipe. So if we go back to our cooking station, let it auto-save there. So we'll be able to see, sorry I can't run at the moment, I'm over encumbered. We'll be able to see here that although I have 20 people living here and I only have 24 food production, it doesn't give me a large amount of spare food, but I still have, you know, in the hundreds of many of the foods. I believe potatoes, for some reason, I'm a bit low on, but I've created loads and loads and loads of adhesive. So if you guys set this up in this way, then you'll be able to have pretty much an endless supply of adhesive. The same principle applies to the purified water as well. If you set up your settlement so that it has more water than it needs, and do that in all your settlements and link them with supply lines. For instance, here I have 20 people and 26 water production. That means every day 6 units of purified water are going to be placed in my workbench and be available for me to cook with. So I hope that makes sense, guys. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll explain it a little bit better in a comment maybe. But hopefully that That makes sense, and that's a nice easy way of getting lots of adhesive. Now the one thing I'm a little bit embarrassed about is that I don't really use chems in Fallout games very much, so I never really took the time to look through everything that you can create in the chemistry station. But I'm now going to show you how you can do exactly the same thing with oil. You can actually create oil, and that was the one thing I always found myself low on. So if you scroll down to the utility tab on the chemistry station, you have this here, which is cutting fluid. Now you probably find these little cans of cutting fluid out in the world, and you'll notice that they give you more oil, and that's been pretty much my main supply of oil, finding little bottles like this. But as you can see on the left hand side, creating one of these cutting fluid cans gives you 3 units of oil and 1 of steel. And again, this acts as a junk item. It is a junk item. It will just be put straight into your workbench, and you can, whenever you create something that needs oil, it will use the oil from these items of junk. Of course, as you can see here, I don't have enough bones to create this. That's simply because I fairly recently went through my inventory and built as many as I possibly could. Now, all these items are things that you won't have a steady supply of. You won't have a natural income of acid, steel, and bones. But they are things you can find in abundance out in the world. And you find them by picking up junk items. Acid comes from things like, I believe it comes from a Braxo cleaner, which is an item that's been in Fallout ever since the beginning, I think. And there's a whole bunch of other items that give you acid. So if you're picking up all of the junk in the world and bringing it back and putting it into your workbench, then you should have, a nice large number of, items that can give you acid, bone, and steel. And again, the purified water we just discussed a moment ago. So there you have it, guys. You can create your own oil, you can create your own adhesive, and that's why it's super important to pretty much pick up anything, to be honest. I try and pick up absolutely everything I can. Obviously, when you're playing Fallout, you might be focusing more on weapons and armor and things like that, thinking they're more important. But to be honest, you break down the majority of weapons and armor that you find. You obviously take the mods off them first so that you can use them later, and then break down the basic weapon itself. And you get sort of some good things from breaking down weapons, things like screws and stuff like that. But from armor, you don't really get a lot from breaking down armor. You just get sort of maybe 1 unit of leather or some steel or whatever the armor's made out of. So if you don't have enough space to carry everything, just drop the armor, unless it's got interesting mods on it that you want to keep. Obviously take that with you, and then you can take those mods off that armor for using later. But if you find basic bits of armor that have nothing interesting about them, just leave them and save the space for all this junk, because picking up junk will allow you to create things that are worth so much more than the junk on its own. And of course, the oil here is one key sort of example of that, I guess. Picking up things that have acid and bone. I mean, you find a skeleton or something, you think, oh, that's just bone, that's worth nothing, I'll leave that. But I came here and I'd played a lot of the game before I even realised you could do this, and I was blown away. I was so happy because I'm always low on oil, and I was so happy that I picked up hundreds of bones and put them into my workbench, because I was able to just make several hundred units of oil, and I think I'm never going to be short again during my time with this game. So there you have it, guys. Pick up everything, create what you want. I hope that's been helpful. They're very important units, the oil and the adhesive, so go out and get yourself a nice load of it and stock up, ready to build a nice lot of turrets around your settlements and keep them safe. Keep all your hard work intact. But for now, guys, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to get back to enjoying the game. I hope that's been helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye for now.